For a long time, I thought burgers were a bad version of Afghan kebab. You know why? Because nobody really knew how to make them that well. But after cooking them myself and taking the necessary steps, I've come to learn that biting into a perfect burger is unlike anything else. I'll be showing you how to make that perfect burger, so without further ado, let us begin. I'm going to be grinding my own meat for this burger. That may sound like overkill, but trust me, it is not. Store-bought ground beef is all beef scraps that they have left over, and you have no idea what scraps they actually put in there. It'll have more silver skin and be a tougher texture than your own ground beef. I know exactly what I'm putting in the meat mix, and I can control the fat content. I always like to keep leftover fat in the freezer just for burgers. This fat was left over from a brisket that I trimmed a couple of weeks ago. Here I'm showing you what silver skin is. As you can see, it's like super tough, and a small grinder that I have at home will not be able to grind this. Whenever you see silver skin, take a thin, sharp knife and trim it out. Fillet knives are pretty cheap, so I recommend you get one of those. Now I'm going to start cutting my beef into some cubes. I'm using tri-tip, and this particular one was not as fatty as I needed it to be. I'm looking for like an 80% meat to 20% fat ratio, which is why I have some brisket fat on the cutting board, which I'm going to be adding to my beef mince. Once all the beef is cubed, place them onto a baking sheet, making sure they're spread out, and place them into the freezer. You're also going to want to freeze your grinding equipment. This keeps the meat cold and from getting emulsified. 40 minutes will suffice. Once the time's up, assemble your grinder. If you don't have a grinder, you can use a food processor, which both work. I'm going to be grinding everything on low speed. Since the meat is frozen, it'll be a lot easier to grind this. This step is optional, but for a better texture, you should grind the beef twice. But again, that is optional. The size of the burger really depends on either how I'm feeling or how many people are going to be eating. Since I need exactly 7 burgers, I made sure each burger was 4 ounces. You could definitely do 5 and maybe even 7, but the cooking time would obviously differ. For burgers, a thermometer is highly recommended. They can dry up pretty quick. I'm going to be flattening my burgers with a plate. You could just do this with your hands, but the plate makes it a little bit more even. For seasoning, we're just throwing on some freshly ground black pepper and some kosher salt. I'm making my burgers on the grill over some lump charcoal. You could do it on a cast iron pan, no problem at all, but please do not overcrowd the pan. That will cause the burgers to steam and you will not get a nice crust. I had to be pretty quick because the grill was really hot. Once they reached an internal temp of 150 degrees, I took them off of the grill. I also toasted some of my homemade burger buns. Always toast burger buns, you'd be surprised how quickly they can get soggy. For me personally, I like special sauce. The recipe will be in the description. If you want store-bought, 1000 Island sauce is never a bad choice. My personal favorite is the chipotle mayo from Whole Foods. That stuff is like incredible. After that, our burger, as you can see, I put on some cheddar cheese in the grill. That stuff melts in no time at all. Then some dill pickles. I think Joshua Wiseman overreacts about this, but it's true that dill pickle slices are a bit more convenient. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. Then some thinly sliced tomatoes. Always season your tomatoes. I thought that seasoning tomatoes was just like some trendy thing that didn't make a difference. So let me tell you, it makes a big difference. And now our castle is complete. This burger is insanely delicious. The juiciness will blow you away. It's super flavorful and beefy. The texture of the ground beef is not at all unpleasant. It's got a great bite to it and it holds together. Stupidly good. I hope you guys try this out.